Before I move on, I want to go back to my masters and rename all the widgets that I just added to my dynamic panel. Even the dynamic panel, I didn't assign it a name, so I'm just going to go to my outline, select dynamic panel, go to my notes, and give it a name. I'm going to call it messages panel. Next is state 1. I'm going to keep it as state 1, then button. I'm going to call this button state 1 button. Okay, maybe it didn't like that name, so I'm going to call it maybe button 1. I'm going to call heading 2 state 1 heading. Next is the rectangle, which I'm going to call state 1 rectangle. Let's go to state 2, same thing. I'm going to call this button button 2. Heading 2, I'm going to call it state 2 heading. The rectangle is state 2 rectangle. In state 1, I have 3 buttons. I'm going to call them state 3 button 1. State 3 button 2. And finally, state 3 button 3. All the labeling is done now. I'm going to close it, close my dynamic panel. Now I'm going to start linking the top menu bar icons to different states of the dynamic panel. So let's collapse our dynamic panel in the outline so I can look at the remaining widgets. I'm going to go to the first image widget, click here, and go to interactions, click on new interactions, and then click or tap. And now go down to set panel state. I'm going to select the messages panel here, and the first icon is supposed to be linked to the first state, and it's selected to state 1, so everything's good. Okay, let's go to the next image. Same thing, click or tap, set panel state, messages panel. This time I'm going to select state 2. Okay, next image, click or tap, set panel state, messages panel, state 3. Okay, now I am done. One more thing I forgot is that the messages panel, by default, it needs to be set to hide state because I don't want to see this panel pop up first time and I open my page. So if you look here closely, there is an icon, an eye icon that you can click to hide the panel, or you can right click here and select set hidden, and now the panel is hidden. Let's go back to our pages. Go to pet location page, double click, open it, and if you look here in the so make sure that in your outlines you have selected pet locator master, and once it's selected in the style tab, you will see different overrides that are available to you. And if you look closely, these are the names of the widgets that I just renamed them in the master. So this is the state 1 heading. So the state 1 heading, I want the user to be inform the user that the directions have been sent to their car. So that's what I'm going to write here. And on the button, I just want to give them the option to close out the panel. Click on State 2 heading, and this time I want to inform the user that the directions have been downloaded. And this button is also going to be just giving the user the option to close this information. Now I come to 3 buttons of state 3. So in each of these buttons, I want to give user an option to do something. So in the first button, I'm going to let the user send the directions to their friends. So share the directions with friends. Share with friends. Share with pet agency. The rescue agency, let's call it. Or the rescuers. Just to keep it short. And this one, what option we can come up with later, or share to, okay, it could be somebody. If we don't need it, we can always remove it. Right now, we're just gonna put somebody else's name here. Okay, so now we have customized our dynamic panel to this page. Okay, one more thing that I forgot in the pet locator master. Let's go back to the pet locator master, and in the dynamic panel, I want to go back to my buttons, and this button, it needs to have some interactivity added to it. So when the user clicks on this button, the dynamic panel needs to disappear. That's the reasoning for putting these buttons here. So click on interaction. New interaction would be click or tap. Whenever somebody clicks or tap, set state, set hide, right? So messages panel, just hide it. Okay, same thing I want to do for my second button in state 2. Click, hide, messages panel, hide it. Okay, same thing here for each of these link buttons. I want to have the same functionality. Click, hide, messages panel, hide. Okay. Click, hide, messages panel. Okay. Tap, hide, messages panel. Okay. Oops. All right. Let's go back to our Pages tab. Click on Pet Location, and I think we are ready to test our app out.